No money is no money.
They didn't just close the government. They opened the abyss.
27 days. That's how long Chuck Schumer has held America hostage. Federal workers can't pay rent. Food banks are empty. Air traffic controllers work for free while risking your life in the sky. And what does NBC News finally admit? Democrats are choosing to keep the government shut down. They call your suffering leverage. Your kids going hungry, that's their bargaining chip. Your mortgage payment, their political ammunition. Even the unions that bankrolled Democrat campaigns for decades are now turning on Chuck Schumer, demanding that he end the madness. The largest federal workers union just broke ranks. When your own foot soldiers revolt, you know the war is lost. So stay with us. And while Schumer's shutdown empties grocery shelves and food banks collapse, smart Americans are taking action. My Patriot Supply has your back with their 3-month emergency food kit. Save $100 right now. Over 2,000 calories daily for 90 days, real meals, not survival rations. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, snacks, all in sturdy buckets lasting 25 years. Made in America. No MSG, no junk, fast free shipping, 30-day returns, disaster replacement guarantee. When shutdowns hit and shelves go bare, you'll be eating while others panic. Preparewithgary.com is the link. It's going to save your family. So get prepared today. So we've got a lot to uncover here today. 22 hours ago, flights to L.A. International Airport halted amid the government shutdown, according to the Boston Globe. That's the headline, folks. Flights to L.A. International Airport halted. Democrats standing firm on keeping the government shut down. Look at this. Republicans are 55 yes, with 2 defectors and 1 independent. 45 no. And there's a Republican voting on the no side. That's where we're at right now. Representative Barry Loudermilk acknowledging that Democrats are choosing to keep the government shut down. Thousands are due to miss pay and access to critical assistance programs, yet they persist for the sake of leverage. This is the headline on NBC. Largest federal workers union calls for an end to the shutdown, putting pressure on Democrats. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all for them. Energy and Commerce Committee, day 27 of Democrats' government shutdown. Their partisan agenda is stalling funding for critical programs, hurting workers and families. The House has already passed a bill to reopen the government. Now Senate Democrats need to stop blocking it. We are in day 27. Over on MSNBC, Representative Pramila, however you say, Jayapal, says that 42 million people will lose access to SNAP benefits due to the Schumer shutdown, slamming the GOP. However, she voted to shut down the government when the clean 24-page CR came up for a vote in the House.
Constituent is happening as the shutdown drags on. And now, as we've been reporting, funding is set to run out for those SNAP benefits that are so essential for literally tens of millions of people in this country who get government assistance to buy the basics, to buy food. Democrats are holding the line, right, on the healthcare issue right now. What do you say to those constituents who are worried about feeding their families?
Well, this is the most cruel thing that the Republicans have done since the shutdown started. 42 million people are on SNAP. That is basic food assistance. It is the most effective anti-hunger program that we have ever had, and it used to be bipartisan. And when Donald Trump can spend $40 billion to bail out Argentina, but refuses to use the funds that are available and make additional funds available to feed 42 million people. 1 of 4 kids in this country relies on SNAP benefits.
And you are going to ensure they starve by continually voting no to the clean CR. MRC TV posting this: a lady on food stamps spends $400 at Walmart on junk food. Taxpayers paying for this gluttony is insane. Well, pretty soon those food stamps are going to dry up.
You want to know why I'm not having an aneurysm over people losing their food stamps on November 1st? Here's why.
Come grocery shop because it go by faster. One of you. This what I pick and this what he picked.
$400.
Vegetables. No more. You get a pre-selected box of meat, bread, rice, food staples, and fruits and vegetables. No more handing you a debit card filled with other people's cash for you to go load up on Oreos. The goal here is to keep you from starving because taxpayers do not need to bankroll your junk food pantry or your health problems. You want to know why I'm not having an aneurysm over people?
Well, you may have an aneurysm when the Walmarts are burning down on November 1st. We have this from the Secretary Sean Duffy. 5 hours ago, posted this. Air traffic controllers will stop getting paid starting tomorrow. This is not okay. I just visited several of them, and they are worried about paying their mortgage. He writes, Schumer and Jeffries, you've got to do better. Some images of Duffy with the air traffic controllers. 8 hours ago, Speaker Johnson had this to say about the Democrat shutdown.
If they don't appease, see, they've made an evaluation that they have to appease the Marxist base, that they're so concerned that they'll lose their jobs if they don't appease the far left in their party. And they sat in a back room and they made the calculation that they would rather shut the government down and impose all this pain on the American people because they believe the Marxists, the far left in the base, are more active than hardworking Americans, people who go vote. And so they made the calculation that it's worth it to them. Every day gets better for us. We'll use the pain as leverage. For what? To prove to the far left base that they won't give in, that they'll fight Trump and fight the Republicans. What are they fighting? It's a clean CR. It's the same level of funding that they have voted for as recently as earlier this year. They are Biden-level policies and spending. This is not some Republican wish list. We don't have any of our priorities in this at all. It's the Democrats' own product. But they have decided to flip the script this time because they were getting too much heat from the far left. See, they've made an evaluation.
Too much heat from the far left. But I would also add, if you saw a report the other day, a whistleblower came out and said, it's not just the far left, it's the insurance companies that want to keep their gravy train going, the health insurance companies. Here is the Small Business Administrator on the disastrous impacts of the Democrat shutdown. Kelly Loeffler
has stopped 3, but the pain is the point. Every single day of the shutdown has stopped 320 local businesses every single day from accessing $170 million in SBA loans for hiring and for expansion. Now, in Chuck Schumer's own state, that is $40 million every single week. In my home state of Georgia, Senator Ossoff and Senator Warnock shutting down $35 million in Main Street Capitol every single week. So on day 27, all of that adds up to 6,000 small business loans that have been prevented from receiving upwards of $4 billion in Main Street lending. And it's not just the flow of capital that cut off, it's been cut off, as the speaker said, it's small businesses that rely on federal contracts. Thousands of them across the country have received stop work orders. Thousands more who rely on federal workers as their customers are seeing their revenue dry up. Here in Washington, of course, but around our military communities, around main streets across America. It's our storefronts that are cutting back hours, manufacturers that are shelving expansion plans, and generational businesses that are closing their doors for good. It's business that they will never get back. Thousands of painful stories like these are playing out, and that's what Democrats are talking about when they say they now have leverage. But the pain is the point.
The leverage. The American people's pain. That's their leverage. Rapid Response posting this. More than 40 million people are about to get hit hard. They actually posted, it looks like a news clip from
administers the SNAP
NBC
or
News.
food SNAP. This morning, more than 40 million people, that's roughly 1 in every 8 Americans, are bracing to see their food assistance run out later this week, creating a food crisis some experts say could be the worst since the Great Depression, all because of the government shutdown. The U.S. Agriculture Department, which administers the SNAP or food SNAP program, announcing, quote, the well has run dry.
Everyone's worried that, they're not going to be able to feed their families.
This morning, more than 40 million people.
Families are not going to get food. Travelers, someone asked me, when are you going back to D.C.? I said, well, I'm not going to be flying to Washington, D.C. There's no way. I'm not going to go and risk it when you have TSA agents who are working for free and you have air traffic controllers short-staffed and overworked. Hell no. And if you're traveling, I'll pray for you. Who wants to stand in those TSA lines? Who wants to get in an airplane wondering if your air traffic controller got enough sleep or if he's on his third shift? No, thank you. Travelers are bracing for delays. More from NBC.
Set to miss their first at airports coast to coast this morning, travelers bracing for delays after ground stops at LAX and Newark Sunday stalled passengers nationwide. Delays that may be shutdown related, with air traffic controllers set to miss their first full paycheck this week.
They're completely distracted from their duties and responsibilities of keeping the American flying public safe.
The transportation secretary says nearly half of delays and cancellations could be blamed on the shutdown, warning of more to come.
You're going to see more staffing shortages in towers, which means you're going to see more delays, more cancellations. Enough is enough.
At airports coast to coast this morning.
I can't believe they're continuing this charade. Nevada food banks. Both our food and funding stretched as far as it can be.
USDA said. But first, this half hour, time is running out for millions of Americans who rely on food assistance. Over the weekend, the USDA said in a memo it will not tap into its $6 billion contingency fund to cover November benefits, saying quite bluntly, the well has run dry.
And nearly 500,000 Nevadans depend on these benefits to feed their families. Now, we've been working to get answers on where families can turn to for help, and one of them is food banks. But the CEO of 3 Square Food Bank tells our Shakir Hawkins the demand they've already seen is pushing them to the brink.
We are definitely stretched thin. Both our food and our funding is stretched about as far as it can be right now. And I think that's only going to get more difficult as the days go by and the longer the shutdown lasts. So that's why we need the support of the community.
But first, this half hour, time is running.
Food banks running dry. Air traffic controllers wearing thin. Travelers bracing for delays. Small businesses can't get loans to operate. 10 hours ago, Rapid Response posted, Democrats are completely fine with all of this, stating it is truly reprehensible. Watch.
It's not going to take long before a couple of missed paychecks is going to put them in a very difficult decision.
My husband and myself are both controllers and both completely rely on the government being funded to be able to provide for our 3 children. I'll need to reschedule a surgery I've been waiting since March of this year to do.
As a single dad with 2 kids, I do live paycheck to paycheck.
How am I going to pay for groceries for my family? How am I going to feed my family? How am I going to pay my mortgage to keep a roof over my family's head? How am I going to pay for childcare for people to watch my kids?
My wife and I had our first child 4 months ago. I had started doing like other colleagues, doing DoorDash and Uber Eats and Amazon Flex just to make sure I had some income at the end of the month to buy groceries, diapers, and wipes.
I've had to pick up a second job just to make sure that we're able to make ends meet.
How long can we survive until we have to pick up a second job on top of working 6 days a week unpaid?
It's not going to take long before a couple of missed paychecks is going to put them in a very difficult.
Yeah, not just a couple missed paychecks. Wait till the planes start falling out of the sky because of this. I mean, this is really, this is all by design. All those, that one guy, he was practically crying. They don't care. These are real Americans who are suffering. I said this before, when these SNAP benefits don't get loaded on November 1st and these food banks dry up, you saw the report we did with all those people saying they're going to raid the Walmarts, they're going to rob the Safeways, they're going to start robbing customers in the parking lots. But of course, the Democrats love that type of chaos. Remember the Summer of Love? Remember that? Mostly peaceful protests? Yeah. Here is Ruben Gallego. I don't know, and I don't care, when asked about his past shutdown comments.
Have done this quite a while. If Republicans shut down the government next time Democrats are in charge to extract whatever it is that they happen to want, are you saying that's okay? Are you saying that's okay if they do that?
I mean, the Republicans have done this quite a while, yes. Yeah, Republicans have done this a lot.
What did you say about it when they did it?
I don't know, and I don't care.
If Republicans...
I don't know, and I don't care. He doesn't care about what's about to happen November 1st. Tim Walz, remember that guy? Tampon Tim? Says Democrats are not willing to open the government because they won't let an authoritarian president do whatever he wants. This shutdown has always been about radical Democrats' hatred of President Trump.
Protect things that had... I know Democrats are ready to go. I know they're ready to come back and do this. They're ready to come back and protect things that had passed the legislature. They are not willing to come back and let an authoritarian president do whatever he wants. I know Democrats are ready to go. I know they're ready to come back and do this.
Yeah, sure thing, buddy. Representative Steve Scalise going berserk on Senator Ruben Gallego for causing pain and suffering on his own constituents. Uh-oh.
Pocketbooks. Senator Gallego went on to meet the press. And he was asked when Democrats would reopen the government. And he said, quote, "I'm not looking at a timetable. I'm looking at everyone's personal pocketbooks." Now, Senator Gallego, you ought to be looking at the pocketbooks of those single moms who right now are facing losing their WIC payments, facing losing their SNAP payments. And if Senator Gallego's not sure how many people that is, we've been told by the administration how many people will stand to lose real benefits, SNAP benefits, food stamps for kids. 42 million people will lose those benefits in just a few days. Senator Gallego, look at their pocketbooks. WIC. Senator
42 million people. And those are just the recipients, not talking about their dependents either. So I would say conservatively 100 million, 150 million if each of those recipients have two dependents. I'm talking about 150 million people. Democrats are internally panicking this morning after federal workers turn on them. Eric Daugherty reports the largest union has demanded Chuck Schumer reopen the government, and Americans are flooding food banks en masse. Check this out.
Out of food. Federal workers waiting in long lines at this food bank in southern Maryland.
I would have never thought in a million years that I would have been in this position to have to go to a food bank.
Denise Blake says she drove over an hour to get here. When she finally arrived, they had run out of food.
We have a cart ready for you out front.
Fortunately, she did not leave empty-handed. But she still faces the harsh reality of not knowing how she's going to feed her family while she's not getting paid during the government shutdown.
I don't want my daughter to see me crying.
Blake's story is like so many others who are waiting to get paid as Congress stalls to pass a new spending plan.
I haven't gotten a paycheck this month, so the free groceries is very important, very helpful.
More than 1 million federal workers are not receiving pay right now. Many missed their first full paycheck Friday, while others will feel the loss early next week, depending on the agency. Federal workers.
1 million federal workers. And now you got the unions turning on Schumer? Red Wave Press, Mary Harf, Republicans are refusing to negotiate. There is nothing to negotiate, honey. Oh, no, let's see.
This is the millions of people are losing health care, or it's going to cost a lot more. This is the one opportunity we have to influence that because we are not in power, and Republicans are refusing to negotiate. You know, I remember when there was controversy that Barack Obama took a walk during the government shutdown, and Donald Trump is building $300 million ballrooms and traveling around the world. I think he looks very tone deaf right now. When military members are lining up at food banks and he is talking about, you know, gold-laced ballrooms, I think politically, if I were to make a guess, that is going to end up hurting Republicans even more because they are responsible for the health care costs skyrocketing. They have to own that.
But they would say, too, that you guys passed these subsidies and, you know, mapped this whole thing out so that it would expire December 31st of this year when you guys were in control. So why not make them permanent then and say now
the U.S. Congress doesn't make anything permanent. I think Democrats would have loved to make things.
Yeah, that's not true. There's a lot of laws that have been around for a long time.
There are a lot of things that Democrats would have liked to make permanent. But in order to get them passed, they couldn't. And Republicans have systemically cut assistance for average Americans since Trump came back.
Yeah, that's the problem. Democrats wanted chaos. That's why you guys did it purposely to run out.
What about the health care costs?
Let me go. Then you should have, if you didn't want this to be a crisis, and you guys are smart, then you wouldn't have had this on the table to be a crisis moment. And the second thing is, Republicans understood you don't mess with people's lives and you pay them. That's why they said at CR more than a dozen times when Biden was in office, they worked with Obama at the same time. This is, you don't play with people's lives this way. And
millions of people are losing health care, or it's going to cost.
Health care? You mean millions of illegals? That's what this is about, right? Sheesh. Here we have, let's go back to the Transportation Secretary Duffy. Job number one is getting people where they are going safely.
In the system, and if I don't feel like I have enough controllers or enough controllers that are focused, we will slow down traffic, we will stop traffic, and that's why you see the delays in the system. And the job number one is, again, get people to where they're going safely. And if it's not on time, well, call the Democrats. Call Chuck Schumer if you're frustrated that you have a staffing shortage and your flight's 3 hours delayed or your flight is canceled. Call Chuck, call Senate Democrats, because this is the reason why. If I don't feel like I have enough control.
Hell no, I ain't traveling anywhere. Rapid response 10 hours ago. No money is no money. CBS Mornings. Government workers missing checks. Food stamps threatened.
Parent, I have.
For the past 27 days, Sarah Lamb has continued to go to work at a Social Security field office without pay.
I'm the head of my household. I'm the sole income provider for my home. I'm a parent. I have 2 small children. I carry the load in that sense. Not having an end in sight, I think, adds to that anxiety, and everything's very uncertain.
She's one of nearly 500,000 federal workers who missed their first full paycheck Friday.
No money is no money. So if we're not being paid, then obviously edits have to be made. I have a mortgage. It's only my name on the deed to this house. So if I don't pay it, I don't know who will.
For the past 20.
If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is not politics anymore. It's economic warfare against the American people. When single mothers can't feed their kids, when air traffic controllers risk bankruptcy to keep planes safe, when 42 million Americans face losing food assistance, that's not leverage. That's called torture. And Chuck Schumer owns every second of it. The Democrats demand $1.5 trillion for their radical wish list, including health care for illegals, while American citizens starve. They've calculated that your pain will break Republican resolve. They're wrong. The union revolt proves it. The food bank lines prove it. The tears of federal workers prove it. This ends one of two ways. Either Schumer blinks or Americans make him blink in the next election. So here's a question for you. Should Republicans cave to Democrat demands just to end the shutdown? Yes or no? Drop your answer. Let's have a conversation in the comments below. And while you're at it, check out our merch shop. Link in the description, because our merch shop is still open.